Hello everybody to our coverage of this year's Global Public Transport Summit in Montreal, Canada. Once again, we try to provide outstanding experts on the today most urgent questions in public transportation. My today's guest is the Head of Marketing Innovative Technologies at Siemens, Mobility Management in Munich. Welcome, Simone Koehler. Simone, in your session at the UATP Global Summit in Montreal, you will share a lot of information about mobility as a service. Looking at the abstract, it says the vision certainly is the compelling for all travelers. But the vision has, in some parts of the world, already become reality. In Switzerland, when traveling with the carrier Südostbahn, you don't need a ticket anymore. Do you mind explaining mobility as a service to us? By this project to be launched soon?
Yes, sure. Well, one major aspect of mobility as a service is to make traveling more convenient across modes, but especially within public transport, to make or keep public transport really attractive to the travelers. At Südostbahn, we actually implement the first of its kind, be-out ticketing, in combination with intermodal journey planning, booking and ticketing.
And how does this work?
Well, you as a passenger have an app installed on your smartphone. With this app you can make your intermodal journey planning, you can book and actually buy tickets for several modes. And actually in Switzerland also the ski lifts are included in addition to car sharing and so on. And with this app you also obviously travel in the vehicles from Südostbahn, and your app is detected once you're traveling and you're actually charged to, based on the trip you actually make.
What does this mean for the traveler?
Well, it's easy to travel across modes. There is no hassle with standing in front of ticket vending machines and not understanding the tariff schemes. It's easy onboarding. It makes all very smooth and comfortable to travel across modes. And that is really an achievement in Switzerland, where you may know the transport landscape is already well advanced.
Yeah. And what are the benefits for the Südostbahn?
Well, certainly through this approach, Südostbahn extends their portfolio. So beyond just being a pure public transport operator, they position themselves towards the customer really as a mobility provider, a comprehensive mobility provider. And with our C-Mobility Connect platform in the end, it's also a solution that is highly scalable, highly flexible in the cloud. It's multi-mandate, so the solution can also be extended. And what certainly is also of benefit to Südostbahn, it's I think also our approach that we provide the platform as a service. So again, it's a big benefit to have the flexibility on that side.
And Simone, you and your team develop and implement innovative IT-based solutions to simplify the travel cost modes and optimize operations. That sounds a little bit technical to me. Let me put this question another way. Who are you talking to? Who are the people you have to convince to move forward like the Swiss did?
Well, if you talk about intermodal or multimodal, well, you can imagine there's multiple stakeholders involved. Nevertheless, public transport operators, they have been the backbone and still are in many regions the backbone of transport in the region. So they should and actually do also take the lead forward to implement mobility as a service and integrated mobility offerings for the travelers. So if I take one example, is our customer in Dubai. It's RTA Dubai, Road Transport Authority in Dubai. And with RTA we built up the Dubai Integrated Mobility Platform. And just within these days, there's also the launch then of their app So Hail, where travelers can actually book across modes, including car sharing, limousines, taxis, and so on. And for sure, RTA in that context is one of the leading mobility as a service providers in the Middle East. But also, there's also other players who can take the lead and drive the innovation in that context. So if I take just another project we have with Flughafen München, so the airport in Munich, where we develop a solution to not actually bring you just smoothly from door to door, but door to gate. So to also consider what options you have to get to the airport across modes, including different modes, but also to include the times for processing at the airport. So it's really a critical path for many travelers. You may be aware of that for sure too. Yeah. And it brings a lot of benefits to the airports and its passengers. But also going really beyond, there's opportunities for multiple players. If you just think of more advanced or coming up services like demand responsive transport or microtransit, sometimes called as well. Or there are also packages possible for companies, for employees to drive, to provide them with packages to use public transport or car sharing. So to combine packages that actually fits to their needs.
So there are various groups that all will benefit from the transition to digital mobility. And another one also, the environment, nature, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mobility as a service certainly promotes a shift towards public transport and the sharing services. And if the mobility as a service offering is an attractive one, it actually can beat the competition, which is the car. We actually can benefit from less congestion, less pollution, which is of the benefit for all of us. But it also makes cities more attractive. It's more attractive also to businesses. And actually, it's not just an image thing. It also relates, for example, to EU regulations, where you actually have to pay penalties if you don't meet the targets. So there's really a driver for cities and then related to nature and the benefit of all of us.
Digitalization is considered to make new business models possible. What possible models come to your mind when mobility as a service is concerned?
Yeah. I mean, let me take again the public transport operator. Through positioning with mobility as a service, they really can extend their portfolio. They are not a pure public transport operator, but they provide car sharing, bike sharing, and other modes of transport that may be relevant in the region. And as such, they really can position as a comprehensive mobility retailer, also for capacities they don't really have. So they position much stronger towards the customer. They have access to new revenue flows, and so it's a whole new field that is open to them. And well, talking from a provider perspective, we actually can support these new business models. I mean, there's quite a bit of complexity behind integrating with a lot of mobility providers. So if you have a platform that supports you in that management, that is quite a big benefit. And certainly also the business models, as I mentioned, as a service models, which pretty much more than trigger also OPEX, not CAPEX for our customers, I think is also a business model related issue that we can really proceed forward and make the benefit for the customers and the customer's customer.
And what is the trigger to drive the implementation of mobility as a service solutions? What is the success factor one has to focus on in order to implement a project?
Yeah, important question. I mean, there are multiple success factors for sure, but perhaps I just take two or maybe three. So first, it's integration. Well, it's pretty obvious, but we need to be aware integration has to be made on various levels. It's contracts, it's processes, it's the business model behind, and that is actually the main driver. I mean, IT integration is essential as well to make it all work, but at the end, it's just an enabler of the other things that need to be integrated, and that's what I mentioned also in the beginning. You need really the persons, the people who want to drive that integration between all the different parties. And then second and third, it's really quality of service and it's customer focus. So if we really want to beat the car, the individual car with the flexibility you have, with the comfort you may have, really need to have a solution that is reliable. That again relates to the apps that we just mentioned, but it's also the reliability of the physical service. You need to be sure that there's a car available once that you booked, so that it brings you from A to B, and that you can rely on that service and you're not stuck in the middle of the trip.
And what kind of data do you think is necessary to analyze today in order to find and develop new and future-proof services?
Yeah, I mean, mobility as a service needs a lot of data. That you have all the data available on, well, what opportunities, what options do you have, what cars are available, what bikes are available, are there any taxis around, and so on. But for sure, it also generates a lot of data. So there's the people booking their trips from A to B, they take different tickets and so on. And that helps us really to understand what the passenger needs, what the main travel flows are, and by that it also helps us to actually manage transport more efficiently and actually make also a better demand management. So we can optimize operations, we can optimize the vehicles that we provide or our customers provide to optimize the networks and optimize the offerings for the customer. And if you look at the passenger, well, on a more individual level, certainly it also helps to provide individual packages subject to your preferences. So it's a whole set of data. You can do and analyze a lot and actually steer your management more efficiently and better. But we just actually having the discussion really get started. I mean, the more you analyze the data, the more you learn, the better you can be and provide your offering to the customer.
Very interesting. In my final question, I would like to ask you about your personal opinion on the outlook. What is the time frame you estimate the transition to digital mobility will take?
Well, digitalization is certainly not a vision anymore. It's in progress. Certainly the speed differs from region to region in the world. But at the end, I don't know what the final goal is of digitalization. Perhaps just let me get one example. If I'm looking at my son, he's 2 years old, and nowadays he always checks if there's a driver in front of the bus sitting, driving us. And I'm pretty sure that there will be one day where he'll ask me, well, how on earth could you ever rely on human beings driving vehicles? How could you take this risk? So I don't think it will take a lot of time until we really see a big progress. Yes. Autonomous vehicles is just one part of that again.
Simone, thank you very much for the detailed information on your work, research and perspectives on mobility. Find out more details about the 2070 Summit on Twitter, please, or YouTube, or Siemens.com. Always keep in mind to follow, like or share us. Bye bye, that's it for today, and thanks for watching.